Hello, my name is Julie Peralt, and I am a watershed coordinator with the Polk Soil and Water Conservation District, and today we're going to talk about rain gardens. Across the Des Moines Metro and other cities across Iowa, funding programs have been established for you to incorporate water conservation practices at your home. These water conservation practices, which we also call stormwater best management practices, are tools that you can use to solve ponding and drainage problems at your own home, beautify your landscaping, while also helping to improve local water quality, flash flooding potential, and even incorporate more different species to increase biodiversity and habitat in our neighborhoods. Rain gardens are one tool that you can use at home to positively impact our local water quality, beautify your own landscape, and to help our local biodiversity and pollinators and other wildlife. In our urban areas, we have lots of what we call impervious surfaces, which include things like parking lots, driveways, rooftops, sidewalks, and other surfaces. Even our soils in our own yards can be very, very compacted and have a very high clay content. Together, all these surfaces generate huge amounts of stormwater runoff every single time it rains. Historically in Iowa, we would have had lots of native vegetation and lots of wetlands and prairie potholes, in addition to having very, very sponge-like soils that were very good at absorbing high amounts of rain. In fact, a lot of our research shows that native prairie soils could soak up to 6 inches of rain before ever generating runoff. Today, our cities are very different than that. As stormwater falls on our impervious surfaces like our rooftops, the rainwater doesn't really have a place to go to be stored and soaked into the ground. So what happens instead is that water runs off our properties, picks up pollutants, and is transported directly to our waterways, decreasing local water quality, causing stream bank erosion, and a whole slew of other problems. In addition to this, the removal of native vegetation and wetlands and prairie potholes has created a huge loss of habitat and biodiversity. Using a tool like a rain garden is something that you can easily use in your yard to solve these problems while also beautifying your landscape. Maybe asking, what is a rain garden? What does it look like? Will I like it? What other solutions can it help me solve? So in short, a rain garden is essentially a landscaping feature that is functional. That's my favorite part about it. Not only is it a landscaping feature that you can plant with beautiful native plants that can help our pollinators, it is also a tool that you can use in case you have areas in your yard in which you may be having ponding or drainage issues. Think about your downspouts. Have you ever noticed that there may be some erosion by your foundations? Do you have a wet spot in your yard that every time it rains, it just always seems to pond water? Or maybe you have a spot in your yard where it's really hard to mow after it rains because there's just too much water coming into your system. Well, rain garden is a tool that you could use to fix these problems. So every rain garden has a couple key components. Number one, a rain garden does have a particular size that is based off of the amount of water and the area that is draining to it. So with that, every rain garden is going to have a purposeful entry point, which may look something like having a trenched-in tile from a downspout from your house, or it could just be maybe some overland flow that will come off from your yard. The next part of a rain garden is it has this thing called a ponding area. So every rain garden is going to have a depth of about 6 inches. So it'll be a little bit inserted into the ground, and that ponding area is very flat, so that when it does collect water, the rain garden will fill up and that water evenly disperses so that over the course of about 12 to 24 hours, the water can easily soak into the ground. An important component of this ponding area is the fact that it has very, very healthy sponge-like soils that are amended. So when we say amended soils, we mean that we have taken the soils and we have mixed them with both sand and topsoil or compost, and which make them very, very fluffy. It has good nutrients to your plants, but it also allows lots and lots of water to soak in. The next component of a rain garden involves plants. In a rain garden, you're going to want to use plants that can tolerate moist to wet soils, and we definitely prefer using native plants for a variety of reasons. Number one, rain gardens are designed to soak in water. A lot of our native plants, especially grasses or plants that you may find in our natural stream banks or wetlands, they have very, very deep roots. And every single year, those plants, as they get more established, their roots become more established, and they help to break up that soil, creating lots of pore spaces that can create more storage area for water to soak in. In addition to water storage, rain gardens that use native plants have an added benefit of providing habitat and food for our pollinators. If you plant non-native species or alien plants, we're really missing out on a valuable opportunity to plant grasses that birds will love to eat the seeds from, or different nectar and host plants for our favorite butterflies like monarchs or swallowtails. So rain gardens, if you use native plants, they can be a 2-for-1 deal when it comes to conservation. You can both help improve water quality and store water, but you can also incorporate better biodiversity and habitat into your own yard. If you're interested in learning more about rain gardens and how you can incorporate one into your yard, we have a very exciting opportunity for you that will be co-hosted by the Greater Botanical Gardens here in Des Moines, the partners of the Rain Campaign, and the Easter Lake Watershed Project. If you're wanting to know more about rain gardens and how you can incorporate one into your yard, we have an exciting opportunity coming up for you here in April. Working with the Greater Botanical Gardens, the partners of the Rain Campaign, the Easter Lake Watershed Project, we're going to be hosting a rain garden mini info session. During this lunchtime info session, we'll going more in depth about rain gardens, teaching you where you could locate them in your own yard, and we'll also be providing you the tools and resources you need to get your own project started. Now, in this training, we aren't going to be necessarily teaching you all the nitty-gritty details about how to design your own rain garden, but you should definitely be off to a great start. During this class, we are hoping to teach you more about rain gardens and how you can use them, but to also encourage you to utilize many local funding programs that are available to you to help cover the cost of implementing a rain garden at your home. All of these funding resources can be found at raincampaign.org. So if you want to check those out and learn what funding resources are available to you, we encourage you to do so, and we hope to see you at our upcoming rain garden informational class.